today we're going to cover the concept of slope. So similarly, this is also represent b equal to 2 minus 0. I'll just take 5 minutes to give you a brief about the syllabus. Why? Because to just show you that, okay, what are the pinpoints areas in the syllabus, okay, and what we should focus as per your comfortness with the subject, okay. So basically, see, now as you know that from next year, the whole pattern is going to change, okay. We're going to have the digital SATs. So definitely they have changed the whole pattern of the math section also. Earlier we were having 58 questions, but now you just have 44 questions. Okay, earlier you were getting 80 minutes, but now you're definitely getting 70 minutes. Okay, 35 minutes for 2 modules, because earlier we were having 2 subsections like non-calculator and calculator. So you might be aware that now the whole paper is simply the calculator section. But still, yes, but still on the basis of like, okay, let's say analytical skills or the types of question, they have divided the math section into 2 modules, module 1 and module 2, in which they have kept the number of questions same, that is 22 for each of them. So that will make the total of 44 questions for the whole math section, and definitely for the 800 marks. Okay. Regarding syllabus, I can't see like any change in the syllabus. It is still the same thing. So we have 3 major units in the syllabus. One is the algebra we talk about. Then we have data analysis and problem solving, which is more or less statistics only. And then we have advancement. But now exactly like what we have in them. So in algebra, we think that, okay, like there should be equation solving part, anything, but that is already like expected from us. What they have done in the algebra, they have put some topics of geometry, to be very honest, because here you can see that these all topics are based on the straight line topic. Okay. You have studied straight line before?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if we talk about straight line, definitely it is all about the linear function. So you can see that graphical representation of linear function, linear equation with rational coefficient, linear inequalities, then system of linear equation. So everything is under the umbrella of straight line. So we need to have a very solid understanding of the straight line topic. Then we talk about the advanced math. What do we have in that? So we have 3 pillars here. One is again the quadratic equation, kind of an upgraded version of the linear equation. So we need to have everything. Okay, we need to know everything regarding from starting from the standard formats, then what are the different types of graph we have, nature of roots, then how to simply connect the quadratic with the real life based problems like that, all of. Okay. Then we have some simple topics from your junior grades like grade 9, grade 10. They have factor theorem, remainder theorem, simple definition, not exactly the definitions, but question based on that, like polynomials, roots, division, multiplication, and everything. Then we have one topic from your grade 11 thing, that is the function, in which we need to learn about some basics of function like definition we talk about. Then we talk about domain and range, how to find them for the standard function. And then one very important topic that they have not mentioned, but they do give question from it, that is the topic of transformations.
Right.
Okay. Which board you are from?
So I took CBSE till 10th, but now I'm in IB.
Okay, for IB. So you have the unit 2 whole from the function only. Okay. So that is the thing. Then we talk about the data analysis and problem solving. So in this, first few topics are very like in general nature, like percentage, ratio, proportion, unit conversion. So hardly we have any theory related to that. But still, like we cannot ignore them. Why? Because from each, at least we'll get one question, but they won't be like on the direct basis, like, okay, just convert the unit. No, they will give you some practical question, like they'll give you chain of information. Okay. And ratio proportion, they can give you some question based on mixture contents. So we need to have a solid idea of the types of question that they ask. So rather than focusing on the theory, we can focus on like, okay, what are the types of question they have asked in the previous 7 years, 5 years. So we can be extra prepared, and we are already like enough prepared in the sense that whatever question they give, we don't have to think much about that in the exam time. Okay. Then we have some core topics from the statistics, like you might have heard of the mean, median, mode, and everything. Standard deviation is not exactly there in the syllabus, like the formula thing, but they do ask the understanding part. Okay, like they do create a question on the basis of which you need to know that, okay, what exactly standard deviation gives you. So we'll discuss that also. And then we have like they have put up the conditional probability, which is a very advanced topic. They never ask question on that, but still some good questions of the probability do come. Okay. Then we have the very important topic of this whole syllabus, that is the scatter plot and different types of graph like pie chart, bar graph, histogram. Scatter plot is one of the most important because they'll give you different options and you need to select that which option is best described by the graph. So that analytical
Okay.
skill is required in all these subtopics of statistics. Okay. But still,
Okay.
after learning all these three units, we cannot be sure that we can get 44 out of 45 correct. The reason is that till now, like if I talk about the current scenario, there were 58 questions. Okay. So six questions were fixed from additional topic unit. So still like that will going to be forward only. So we don't know how much question they will ask, but in additional topic, let me give you the idea that in additional topics, they have the topics like surface area and volume. Then we have the
Right.
top, yes. Then we have the triangle also, and then we talk about the circle, like geometry, basic
Okay.
geometry.
Yeah.
Circles, they focus more on circle because we have the theorems related to chords and everything. Then not like the whole complex number, but still in complex number, we need to have a solid idea of the iota. You have HL or SL, maths?
I'm HL.
HL. So you are going to learn the complex number for sure, but it is way too in detail. Okay, we just need to have a good introduction of the complex number that can be done through
Okay.
properties of iota only. And then we can talk about some basics of trigonometry. Okay, like some very basic level, like grade 10, grade 9 level, in which like right angle properties, Pythagoras theorem, and then
Right.
simple trigonometric ratios, not like those identities and everything. Okay, so that is the
Okay.
whole syllabus is. Okay. So you tell me how much you have learned the straight, like you have done it in the unit two. Yes.
The like which part?
I'm talking about the straight line topic because see, as you can
Oh,
see the
okay.
yes.
Um, we have actually done most of that.
Okay. Yes, because see, the reason
Uh,
is that in the first unit you can see straight line is there. So I'm thinking that we can
mm,
pick up one or two topics from that and we can cover that today only. I just don't
okay.
want to keep it as a demo session. At least you can learn something in these 45 minutes. They can help you in that exam day. That's my perspective. Okay. So let us start. So today we're going to cover the concept of slope. So you might be aware of something like, okay, what do we mean by concept of slope? Can you tell me? What do we mean by
Yes.
slope? Yes.
The gradient or the
Hmm.
this thing in the line. So you calculate that by the change of y by change in x.
Exactly. So basically, sir, if we talk about the gradient, it is nothing but the change in y by change in x. Good. Because student give me directly that formula that I don't like that y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Okay. See, both
Yeah.
things are same only. But why change in y by change in x is important? Because if I talk about, see, I'm using the current pattern or previous pattern again and again because that is what I have in my
Mm,
reference point.
right.
Okay. So out of 58 questions, 19 questions used to come from unit 1. Still, like
Oh,
in the new pattern, also unit 1 will dominate, and unit 1 means straight line will dominate. Okay, so
okay.
58, like you can see that 30% of your whole paper will come from the straight line topic. So they won't be asking you simple numerical question like, okay, this is straight line, calculate slope, give me the equation. No,
Yeah.
let's say only like, okay, they have a very let's say attachment to the language problem. In maths also you will find big language questions. Okay, or
Mm,
they will give you some graph which will be not on the basis of mathematical data, but it will be on real life based, like some vehicle is there, the average life is there, like that kind of data. Okay, so we
right.
need to have that understanding that how we can connect this thing to those like types of question. That's why this language is important. So you told me change in y by change in x. Okay, so we'll discuss that. Let us start with some simple things first. See, from the basic point of geometry, no need to learn anything, but still two things are very important. Let me discuss that. So we are not leaving anything. So the very first thing that we'll discuss is the Cartesian plane. Now in the Cartesian plane, I know that you know that it is x-axis, we have the y-axis, and then we have the
Mm.
origin. One time they asked, uh, not like they have asked it, but they put up one of the sentences in one question. Okay. So can you tell me what is the purpose of having the origin here? Like why we have tagged origin as 0, comma 0, or why we are naming this point of intersection of x-axis by axis? What is the purpose behind it?
I mean, it's your frame of reference where you compare other points to a center.
Exactly. That is what they actually kept in the language also. It is nothing but the point of reference because ultimately what we are doing in the plane, we want to locate anything. We want to give any point's address. Okay. So we need some frame of reference, right? We cannot
Right.
simply blindly like say that that thing is there. Now, if we have the
Yeah.
origin, so if any point A comma B is there, so this A comma B is nothing but at A distance from the origin on the x-axis, and sir, we have taken or we have covered B distance on the y-axis. That's how
Right.
A comma B represent the thing. But there is one more way to talk about this point, basically to tell about the location of this point. What is that? One is simple. A distance covered on x-axis, B covered on the y-axis, so point is A comma B. One more can be, this point is at A unit distance from the y-axis. Now see how they can give you the question. A point is at 5 unit distance from the y-axis. Okay. That means it is not talking about the y coordinate. That is the x
Right.
coordinate. So very simple thing. You don't have to write it. You don't have to cram that fact. But now you have that perspective that, okay, sir, that distance from here is A only. And it is from the y-axis. That means it is talking about the x coordinate. Simple.
Yeah.
Sir, but
Okay.
this distance can be here also. No. Whenever we talk about a point, by default, whenever we talk about a point and its distance from a line, it is always the perpendicular distance, because a point can have infinite number of distances. So we cannot go for
Right.
each and every one of them. Okay, it is always the
Yeah.
perpendicular. Okay, sir. First thing, this one. Second thing is that if we talk about this point, let's say capital A, so coordinate of this point will be what?
That will be it's 0 on the y, so and A on the
Yes.
x, so A comma 0.
Yes, A comma 0. Similarly, this point will be 0 comma B.
0,
Now, what is the speciality of this point? Speciality is all about, like, if we talk about in specific x-axis. So let's say if I take a point H. So sir, I don't know like what will be the x coordinate, because the x coordinate will depend on the location. You are on the left, it will be negative. Okay, how much distance you are from the origin, that's how it will take the value. But sir, y coordinate will show be 0. That is the point on the x-axis. Similarly, sir, we talk about any point on the y-axis. We don't know what will be the y coordinate, but x coordinate will be 0. So try to think that on x-axis, we're getting a general. General means like it is generalized. Okay, we don't have to think much. There will be some exception. A generalized condition is there. That's on x-axis, the y coordinate is 0. Vice versa for the y-axis, the x coordinate is 0. That is the reason whenever we talk about the equation of x-axis, it is y equal to 0. Why? Because this condition or this thing is true for all the points on the x-axis. Similarly, for y, the equation is x equal to 0. We'll talk about the vertical and perpendicular line topic also, but right now it is like good to know this point. That is it. Okay.
Okay.
Now I hope you're aware of the distance formula and the midpoint formula.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not writing that part. So these are the two only fundamental things that they have kept on asking again and again. Nothing else. Okay, nothing like something extraordinary they have asked. Never ever. Okay. So let us directly come to the concept of slope. So as you told me, concept of slopes are, so if we talk about the slope or what we call sometimes a gradient also, in IB they mostly use the gradient word only. The notation is small m. So whenever we talk about the slope or gradient, we were saying that it is change in y by change in x. But again, it is important. So let's get into much deeper sense. If we talk about the slope, where it has come from. So I'm not talking about the origin, but there is one umbrella concept. Umbrella in the sense that it contains many concepts inside it. So that concept is the average rate of change. Okay. So in general, average rate of change concept is there. So what it talks about, whenever there are two quantities, okay, which are related to each other. Okay. Related means they have some mathematical relation between them. Okay. You can express one in terms of other. So whenever, so if I change one, like other one will change, so other will get the effect of that. Okay. Like that, based on the relation they have. So point is that how I will calculate the average rate of change. So average rate of change is very simple. I have two quantities, so I have to take one tag as one is dependent and one is independent quantity. Okay. Simple.
Yes.
So average rate of change is very simple, that if there is one unit of changes in the independent quantity, how much it is affecting, or basically how much change we can see in the dependent quantity. That is what average rate of change talks about. Sir, is there any example? Yes, very simple. If we talk about one concept, that is the concept of speed. If we talk about speed, we talk about how much distance we have traveled, sir, with respect to how much time we have taken. If I take the final coordinate, let's say I have gone to D2 point in time T2, and initial I was at D1 and time was T1. So speed will be simple difference in the distance divided by difference in time. So can you see that it looks similar, sort of like this concept formula slope only. That's what I was
Yes.
talking about. So concept of slope
Okay.
is not like something that directly came up. No, it was average rate of change. Then it okay went to the mini concept. Like this is one of them. Now
Right.
this much
Okay.
is enough to know about that. Okay, so that's how we'll relate it with the real life based problems. Okay, now you can see that they can give you a question on the speed, distance, and time graph. They can ask you the speed. So we need to know that okay, speed is nothing but kind of a slope of the distance and time graph. Okay,
Yes.
now, sir, why we are having the slope? Like, what is the purpose of it? So, purpose is very simple. It is defined for the straight line. Now, again, I'll prove that okay, why it is only defined for the straight line. But let us first discuss that how we find it. So, simple, sir. If I have a coordinate plane or I have a straight line. So let's say this point is x1 comma y1 and this point is x2 comma y2. So sir, if I want to calculate the slope of this straight line or basically the path that is being connected by joining the A and B point, very simple, sir. I will calculate the change in y by change in x, which will give
Okay.
me y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x. Very simple.
Yeah.
Again, just very simple, silly, but yes, important thing that we can also write it as y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2. Now it looks very simple. That's what you have done. I've just taken negative common from numerator and denominator. But
Right.
the purpose of writing both these formulas is to show you that it does not matter from which point you are calculating the slope. You just decide your point. Don't just waste time in thinking that okay, this looks simple. No, just stick to one point and through that calculate the difference y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. If you stick to this point, then y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. That's how we're doing this thing. Okay,
Okay.
now this is what we have about the slope. So okay, one thing, sir, why we're directly like getting the idea that difference in y. Actually, if you remember, we talked about d2 minus d1 by t2 minus t. So change in
Mhm.
dependent quantity divided by change in independent quantity. In
Independent. Yeah.
general, like okay, by default, let's say just for our convenience, we try to tag the y axis or simply like whatever the y representing as the dependent quantity and simply
Dependent.
x for
Yeah.
the independent. So try to think that at this level, and at this level, if we talk about the change in y, so we don't have to think much. It is simply y2 minus y1. Why? Because it
Hmm.
is just the difference in the vertical height. Change in y has nothing to do with the change in x. Nothing to do means they're not affecting each other. Like, for an example, in your home, let's say you are at the ground floor earlier and you went to the third floor. So if I'm talking that okay, at what height, like what is the difference in your height, so you won't tell me that okay sir, in which room I was in the ground floor and in which room I went to. You will just tell me
Right.
sir, ground zero, third floor 3, 3 minus 0 3.
Yeah.
But when I talk about the horizontal, then we will matter that okay, how much the displacement in the horizontal direction has taken place. That's why we're just taking the y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Okay, let's do
Okay.
one question and then we'll discuss one final thing and then we'll move on to the questions. Okay, so question is simple only, but yes, just to move to one of the conclusion that is important. So let's say if I give you 4 points. So you have 4 points, let's say A, B, C, D. So I'm just asking you to calculate, let's say, slope using the point AC and using the points DB and using the point, let's say, DA.
It's the same for all three, and it will be 1/3.
You're getting 1 by 3. I think,
Right.
see, it is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus c. You have taken the reciprocal of the formula. Change in y by change in x, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's why even some simple things like okay, we can do some silly mistakes. Okay, that we have to take care of. So everything is 3. So good. So you can see that okay, definitely the equation of the straight line I had in my mind. I gave you the points on purpose, but the orientation I took randomly. A C D B D A. Okay, like that. Why?
Hmm.
Because see, we never think. Okay, no doubt we are preparing for the SAT, that is fine, but still, like, at least we should know some like answer to some very basic question, like why we are studying straight line. We know that circle looks different, like circle looks like, okay, like can you tell me what is the specialty of this circle? It has no vertex, I know that, but something that, like on the basis of which we can see that, okay, this is what only circle has, not anything else.
Uh, I mean, it's a closed shape with no straight lines.
Yes. And one more thing, like I'll tell you, I know that you'll confirm that's a each and every point on the circumference, that is on the
It's
circle, is at
equally distant. Yeah.
equidistance from. Yes, that is what, like, you will never
Yeah.
find it in other figure. Okay, that is why we are studying circle. But we never think that, okay, what is the specialty of the straight line? Okay, like why we are studying it. So nobody is going to ask you that. But at how SAT has asked question on the basis of it, not theoretical question, but numerical question. And we'll do it today. See, straight line topic is not vast, but the only basic 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 it has, okay, it is all about finding equation, doing some question, and dealing with the different condition. That is it. Slope is very important. So if we talk about the
Okay.
straight line, so straight line is very simple thing. The how straight line came into the existence, like you can say that there are infinite number of straight line, right? Like I have shown four only, but there are infinite number of words. If you take any random pair, okay, you just take 2 points, they are very far away from each other, or they are very close, okay, anywhere, both negative,
Mhm.
positive, like that, any pair of points will give you the same value of slope. Like if you apply the formula of slope for those 2 points, you will always get the same value of the slope, because slope of, see, two straight line can be same because if they're parallel. But I'm talking about for a straight line, if you pick 1 point from this and 1 point from outside of this, you won't get the same value of slope. That is unique property that only that group of points on that straight line,
Right.
okay, yes, contains. So straight line is simple, that any pair of points gives same value of slope. That is it. Okay. Now you tell me how much you are comfortable with the notation of like function, like you know what is y equal to fx, not like into that advanced sense, but you know what is fx, that is y only. We give some
Right.
input, that is x, output is y, right? Okay.
Yes.
So we can start with the questions.
See.
C, C is correct. So basically, in this question, can you tell me how you have done it?
Yeah. So I found the slope using 0, comma 3 and 5, comma 0, and then use the same slope for a, comma b and 0, comma 3.
Good, very good, excellent. That's it. Now you can understand. No concept or no equation of straight line being used here. Okay, it is directly based on the concept of slope. That is it. So yes, exactly. As
Right.
we know, 2 points here, sir. They are like, okay, they are constant point. Constant mean like we don't have any variable included in them. So we can directly calculate the slope. That will be 3 minus 0, 3 by 0 minus 5, so minus 5, minus 3 by 5. But I know that, sir, it will remain same for any pair of points. So let me take this and this, or you can take it with this also. So whenever, let's say, if we take this, so this will be b minus 0 by a minus 5. That will be minus 3 by 5. But now we want a our yes. So they have given b plus 3a 15. Yes, correct. Go.
Wait, this is a different question, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Both are different
Okay.
questions.
C for the first one.
Okay.
It took this much time because I actually realized I found the y-intercept, not the x. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And,
okay. No problem. I'll tell you about the intercept also. Yes.
okay. This the one after that is 8.
8. I think just a second. It is minus 1 by 2 only. Okay. See, basically here, if we talk about both the question, okay, both the question of same nature, that's why I picked both of them together. See, most of the students, okay, who are not like, let's say, they think that they know straight line, and in fact, like, it is very simple topic. Anybody will think like that only. So they can have like one way, like, okay, whenever they see a question of straight line, equations come to their mind. They are not able to think on that micro level that, okay, the concept of slope is just a formula that can help me. Like here, f of 3 equals to minus 2. Try to understand. F of 3 equals to minus 2. What it represent? Okay. So
X is 3, then y is minus 2.
basically it is representing a point, sir. 3 comma minus
Yes.
2, right? Similarly, this is also representing a point 4 comma minus 4. So if I call this point as B and this point as A, I can directly calculate the slope. That will be what? Minus 4 plus 2, 4 minus 3. Yes or no? Y2
Yeah.
minus y1. And you can do it anyway. Okay, I have told you earlier. Fine. But this will be equal to x-intercept they want. X-intercept, I know that it is a point where the graph, why I'm saying graph, because it is not only limited to straight line. Okay. Intercept can be for any graph. It is all about where the graph cuts the x-axis. That point is considered to be x-intercept. Similarly, for the y-intercept. Now, as per the convention, okay, like not exactly a convention is a more formal word, but in the sense like sometimes they ask you the value of intercept, sometimes they ask you in the form of coordinates. Okay, so one in the
Okay.
same thing. If x-intercept is 4, the point is 4 comma 0. If y-intercept is, let's say, 6, so point is 0 comma 6.
0,
Okay.
6.
Yes. So if they're asking me x-intercept, I told you why I discuss. See, each and everything I'm discussing, it is well within the bound of like, okay, what SAT ask you. So in the beginning, I told you that x-axis has a simple property, y coordinate is 0. And about the x coordinate, we cannot comment because we need the information about that. So can I take this point to be a comma 0? Because I don't know what is x coordinate, but I for sure know that y coordinate 0.
Y is
So if this
0.
is the point, now I will pair this point with any of these a or b. So let us pair it with b. So 0 minus minus 4, so 0 plus 4 and a minus 4. Got it? Now you just simply calculate because you have the equation. So minus 2, I think this is minus 2. This is 1 only. And this is 4 by a minus 4. So this will be minus 2a plus 8 equal to 4. So that will be minus 2a equal to minus 4. So a is equals to 2. So right now I'm explaining you, that's why I'm giving you like, okay, 3-4 minutes. But you will do in this way. It will just take 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Trust me. Okay.
Actually, I use y equals mx plus c, so it took longer time.
Exactly. That is the point. There is no need of that.
There's no need of
Yes.
using that. Yeah.
Exactly. See, that is the, it will required, okay. But in the question, like they will ask you the equations, okay. Or through the equation, I'll tell you how we calculate the intercept, everything, okay. But that is in like, okay, in like step by step manner. Right now, like today's lecture, I'll just show you like in the next 20 minutes also that how these questions they have asked again and again, again and again, and that can be solved using just this fundamental thing. That is the concept of slope. Like this question, they've asked you sum of intercept, so they have just increased the difficulty in the sense of your calculation thing, because now you have to calculate this point also, let it be a comma 0, and this is what 0 comma b. But
0,
for the ease, they have provided you the slopes directly. They provided you, no problem. So minus 1 by 2 will be equal to 2 minus 0 by 2 minus, this is one equation. And then similarly minus 1 by 2 will be equal to b minus 2 by 2. So with this, if we calculate, that will be a minus 2 equal to minus 4. I hope you're comfortable with this. I've directly written that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So a will be, just a second. I think we have written it the correct. 2 minus. Okay, that will be plus 4, not minus 4 here. This will be plus 4 because it is 2 and 2. Okay. So this will be a equal to 6. Similarly, here 2 and 2 cancel out. So b is minus 1 plus 2. So b is 1. So a plus b is 7. Got it? You gave me answer 7
Okay,
or
just
5?
a second. No, I said 8. Just a second.
Okay.
I again used the formula which is not needed, but let me just see where I went wrong.
See here,
Silly.
it will be actually 9, not 7. See, we have made one. See, this will be actually 0 minus 2. Because see, b minus 2 and 0 minus 2. Okay, so it will be minus 2. Got it?
Minus 2.
So that will be plus 1 and 2. So b will be 3. So actually sum of intercept will be 6, not 7. Sorry, 9.
Okay.
6 plus 3, 9.
I made a small mistake. Yeah, I made a calculation there.
Okay, but now I know that if you go by this way, like the chances
It's
of doing
easier
that mistake
also.
will be. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that thing. So let us do few more questions. Okay, on this basis only. One more good question. Yes.
Yeah. Very good.
Good. Again, no straight line is required. You just go with the pair of points. As you can see
Yeah.
that this point is what?
The slope.
0, comma. Yes. This is 1, comma 12. And this is 2, comma b. And this is a very good question. The student, you just see this question is insufficient information. Why insufficient? In the sense of what? They are not asking you A and B. They're asking you A plus
Yeah.
B.
A
From
plus
this
B.
question, you cannot calculate A or B separately. But
Yeah.
by chance, okay, that one condition is being created that you are getting the A plus B value. So if you go by the equation, okay, that will take much time and you may get like, okay, no, I'm not getting it. Maybe something is wrong with the equation. But no, if we take these 2 points, so we'll have the slope as 12 minus A by 1 minus 0. So that is 12 minus A only. Similarly, if it calculate, I'm using here b minus 12
B
by 2
minus
minus
12 minus 1.
now sir has told me that whatever the slope is, okay, they are not looking same, but they must be same. If the both the values came out to be 12 minus A, so we cannot do anything with that because if we put equal to each other, they'll become 0. So if they're not looking same, so if we put them, we'll get A plus B is 20. So this question is like in a 30-40 seconds. So it is not about like, okay, I'm just pushing you to solve each and every question in 30-40 seconds. But you will require to do some question in that time so that sometime
Yeah.
like at least 5 to 7 question we must expect that they will take our mind. Okay, and we need to like fight with them. So we need to save the time. We need to be like, okay, worry free. In this way only we can do that. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now if you have like you have already studied straight line, so let me ask one more question. Yes. It's a general question only actually. Many approaches of that.
A.
A. Okay, good. So how we have got A?
I used two values, 0 and 27, and then found the change in Celsius. But
Okay.
uh,
See, answer is correct. I
mm,
won't say that that is incorrect,
yeah,
but good. But again, like, okay, to show you that, okay, how the concept of slope can dive into this thing. Okay, remember one thing, only few things are there, like we need to keep in mind. Like linear equation in two variables is always a straight line. That is something that you might have heard many times, okay, when you studied about the linear equation or the straight line. Linear equation in two variables, okay, will always represent a straight line. What is the fundamental or the standard format? This one. Isn't this is also linear equation in two variables, because Fahrenheit and Celsius both are variables because they are changing their values. Okay, both are having the power one, so both are in the linear nature, and this is an equation. So it is linear equation in two variable. So this represent a straight line for sure, right? Okay, and if I
I just
assume
had to multiply by 1 by m, right?
yes, not exactly, but see, if I assume f to be y and c to be x, isn't it this of the format y equal to mx plus c? Clearly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can I say slope is 9 by 5?
Mhm.
If slope is 9 by 5, now read this question. If Fahrenheit temperature increased by 27 degrees, they are not talking about initial or final point. They are giving you the difference in that two temperatures of Fahrenheit. That is
Right.
27. We know that 9 by 5 for sure be delta F by delta C. Now try to relate that how that concept of slope is now changing or helping us in solving a real life based problem. That is delta F by delta C, where they have given you the delta F 27, and they're not again asking you initial or final for
Right.
C. They're asking you the same thing, that is the change in Celsius. So delta C from here 9 times 3 27, and delta C is 15. So don't think that, okay sir, I didn't know this. That's how, like, okay, we need the guidance that, okay, now I
Right.
can show you one more question, okay, and you they have like, okay, repetitively asked the same types of question. But yes, once we get the idea, now we won't be wasting our time in the exam, because you know that, okay, the moment you'll see the question, it is linear equation in two variable, for sure a straight line, y equal to mx plus c format. They're asking the increase, that means they're talking about the delta. Like, do solve
Yeah.
this question.
60.
60 is correct. Good. Because I have given students 5 minutes, 7 minutes for not this question. This look still be same, but it is question. But they are not able to give me the answer. Why? Because they get stuck in that loop that, okay, what should be the initial? Okay, let me take F1 and F2 like that. So that is way
No.
more tedious. Okay, even if I do that
Yeah,
by that
takes
method,
a longer
yes,
time. Yeah.
yes. And like this question, one time they asked this question, okay, definitely it is not like it is unconventional type of question, because as I told, 2 3 questions are there which we need to be prepared for. So this was one of them. Okay, so just read this question. I'm giving you the options. Let's say 0, let's say -1, let's say 1, let's say 3. Try this question. I'm giving you 2.5 minutes. Just try to think of it.
I don't have any points on any of the lines, right? And nothing related to the slope of any of the lines. Right? Yeah.
I'll give you one hint. This question has nothing to do with the straight line. I mean, like any concept, no concept will be utilized here related to straight lines, slope, equation, anything. Because we have
Oh,
nothing,
okay. Yeah.
we have no information about that.
Mm. D is in y-axis, positive y-axis, so multiplied by 2. So -1.
-1 is absolutely correct. Tell me how you have got it.
Because value of a plus b is -3b plus b. So that's -2b. And then you can tell that b is in the positive y-axis, so positive into negative is negative. -1 is the
Exactly.
only negative.
That's what is required in this question. Now you can think. Now I'm not making that image of this exam that how they are asking the question. No, but from this question now you can think that, okay, sir, that's what was required in this question. Okay, because we are not preparing for any subjective exam that we can write anything. We will have
Yeah.
four short like four choices. We need to like okay get the answer correct. That is our final aim. But if
Mm.
we require some basic understanding, like this much depth in the sense like of understanding the concept is not required in all the topics of your syllabus. But
Right.
if you know that straight line is the pillar one, the unit one, it will dominate. 30% of the paper will be from this. We have to cover each and everything. This question, I think they asked in 2016, one of the shifts, and way back in 2008 or something. Okay, so maybe it
Oh,
can repeat, but like you now have the idea that if I'm not
mm,
able to create any information related to slope, related to equation, related to point of intersection, I need to think something of else. And the moment I told you that, you got that idea that okay, sir,
I
A and B
realized that.
positive, negative thing. So here A is minus 3B, sir. So if they ask you, so two things to understand from here. Again, did we get the value of A plus B? No. Okay, final value. Okay, neither we were able to create the idea that how we will get A or B. Second thing, sorry, third thing, that here if they're asking A plus B, they've given A minus 3B. So at least let us try to create A plus B. Then we'll think that okay, what idea we need to think of later on. So if it is A equal to minus 3B, A plus B will be, as you told, minus 3B plus B minus 2B. Now what we can do? So if we look at the options, okay, or please like see this, they say very confidently odd option. Okay, try to think much. No, it does not work every time, but still like okay, we need to think about when we're not able to think much that okay, there is one odd option, so maybe we should get some idea of it. Maybe it can be incorrect also. So A plus B
Right.
minus 2B. So A, B, second quadrant, that's how you got the idea that B is positive, Y coordinate is positive. So this is negative. The moment you see negative, the option B is correct. We don't know even if that is the answer or not. That is our choice. Okay,
Right.
good. One final question.
Hi Bharat, we are requesting you. After this
Okay.
session, you can join the English session link that we have already sent your email, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. It will start at sharp 6 p.m. after 8 minutes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the last question. We'll just take 2 minutes more. Yes. Don't think much about the C option or D option that I'll explain, but try to think of at least A and B option, like how you will deal with them. And remember, they are
Right.
asking cannot be true. So three options are correct here, but that
Correct.
is not
Correct.
our answer. We need to find which is not correct.
Okay.
See, in this question, you know for sure they're talking about the straight line because they've mentioned it. Okay, so we didn't
Right.
don't need to think much of it. There are two ways. This point is for sure 3 comma 10. Okay, so we know that we can create one condition out of it, but don't do that. Why? They're asking cannot be true. Here also you have 2 points. It is 1 comma 12 and it is 5 comma 8. So I
Mm.
slope formula is very simple. Okay, so now we cannot go like okay more simpler than that. You can clearly calculate the slope very easily using this point, and this point. Like 3 points, calculate all the pairs. So let me call it A, B, and C. So if we calculate using AC, so
Oh
12
yeah.
minus
Okay.
10, 2
Have to
by
be
1
equal
minus
if it's
minus
correct.
1. Yes.
Like.
So all the three pairs will give you minus 1 only. But the moment you talk
Mm.
about the B option, f of 4 is 10, that means 4 comma 10. So see, 10 minus 10 0, by 2 minus 7, and 4
Okay.
minus 3 1 0. But you calculate using these two, 12 minus 10, 2 minus 4, that is minus 1. So it is
Minus
not,
one.
so for sure they are not equal because two pairs are not like giving us the
They
same
have
values.
to have the same slope. Right.
Exactly. Okay. So that's why B is
Mm.
incorrect. Now, why C and D? Because very simple. See, function only rejects those condition which makes it uncomfortable. And uncomfortable in the sense which
Mm.
makes it not defined. I hope you have some idea of function domain. Domain is all
Yes.
about having the values of x. Okay. So if I make m as 0, so f of x will be b. So what? This will be a horizontal straight line. F, because y equal to constant is always what? A horizontal line. Okay. And if
Mm.
we talk about b equal to 0, b is 0, so fx will be mx. So it will become a straight line passing through origin. So no problem with that. Why? Why no problem? Because I'm not getting something like 0 in the denominator or negative in the square root, like those conditions, which I have to
Right.
reject. Okay. That is the reason C and D. And like, okay, there are many reasons, but for sure we'll discuss them in the regular sessions. Okay. Any doubt from your side?
Actually, Okay, so for C, right, if M is equal to 0, that means f of x equals to b. But then in the question they've given if f of 3 equals to 10 and 3 and 10 are not equivalent, right? So
No. It is not about equal. See, if they've given f of 3 is 10, that means b value will automatically become 10 because they've given it. Okay. Because f of 3 is 10. And in general, we are
sorry, okay,
getting
okay.
the.
Mistake.
Okay.
Yeah,
3.
mistake.
So,
I thought B was no, never mind. Mistake. Yeah, I got it.
okay. You thought b as the x only, I think so.
X1,
Okay.
yeah. That's all.
Okay. No problem. Okay, that's why. So, any doubt in general?
No.
Okay. So, it was nice meeting you, brother. Take care, better. Bye.